I've had 16 surgeries. I've lost a son. I've lost a husband. And people always say to me, how do you do it, Gail? Why are you always so happy? And,
Hmm.
for me, really, I don't know if there's any other choice. I am not the kind of person who can stay down in the dumps. And so what
Hmm.
happens is, I mean, to me, it's a choice. Do I want to be happy or do I want to be sad? Do I want to wallow or do I want to get on with my life? So to me,
Exactly.
it wasn't a difficult answer. Certainly, I had grief. Certainly, there were challenges, but it's amazing the strength that we do have that we don't even know we have until we go through something like that. So uh,
Right.
I think that's a wonderful project that you're doing. But now you
Well,
have
we'll be
been.
happy to have you. We'll be happy to get you in there if we can work out the schedule. So that would
Yeah,
be
I'll
amazing.
have to let you know when I'll be there in that area. I do have to ask you though, you you really have done photography all of your life. Have you ever done anything else?
Yes, I was. As a matter of fact, I worked in the restaurant business for many, many years and went through school. I have a bachelor's in psychology, a master's in social work. So the restaurant business was pretty much my life for a long time. And with the master's in social work, I went on to work in child welfare. And I kept the photography to the side. I, always wanted to expand on it, but it wasn't, the creative part wasn't really something that was encouraged in my family. It was, get the job. So I did social services for 7 years and got back into photography because that was part of my self-care. After seeing a lot of families not functioning at their best, it was really nice to go into homes and see the other side, where it was everyone was rejoicing and embracing their family and those relationships. And it was really part of self-care. And after about 2 or 3 years of working both jobs, I was finally able to go into photography full time in 2009.
So what
So,
what was your biggest obstacle in going into business for yourself? What was the biggest obstacle or obstacles that you had to
yeah.
face?
Well, it's definitely an adjustment going into photography full time. I missed the benefits that I had with the county and paid sick time, paid vacation, holidays off, and things like that. But other than the finances, and that was a major hurdle. The second part would be learning the aspects of running a business because
Yeah, I think the
the
first part is what
the
keeps most people in
yeah.
their jobs for so long. They say, well, you know what I'm going to do, and if I don't know where the money's going to come from, and I need the benefits because of my family, especially when
Hmm.
you're a single mom, you need those things.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and then of course, it's one thing to be a great photographer; it's another thing to be a great businesswoman. So, um,
exactly. Yeah.
it's and these are issues that our listeners face all the time. They're saying, well, I don't have any experience in business, but I love what I do. But it's just like I always use like a mechanic. You may be a great mechanic and you open your own garage, but are you tied to that? And are you still doing mechanic's work? And you're probably working harder for yourself than you ever did for someone else. And it's a big stretch. It's a really big stretch. But those people that love what they do, they would do it regardless. And I think that's what I'm hearing from you is that
Yeah.
regardless, I mean, this is what I was meant to do, and now I'm doing it and I'm enjoying it. And I'm sure there are
Right.
some ones that you say, "Oh my gosh." Oh my gosh. But on the other hand, when you see how people are just thrilled with what you provide for them in terms of
Hmm.
a beautiful portrait, and what I think is important too, Stephanie, is that you're very creative in your photography. And it's not just a portrait of four people sitting there. I mean, you bring personality to it, which is
Yes.
key. So how do you do that?
Well, I like to say that my degrees in psychology and social work helped a lot because I am really comfortable and I understand how uncomfortable it is being in front of the camera because I was camera shy. I hated picture day. So I really can relate with women in general. who are experiencing that. And I like to have fun and make jokes and just make them feel at ease and get them laughing and smiling. And because, I mean, they do laugh and smile around other people. It's just not necessarily comfortable to do that when you're working with a photographer in the first few minutes. So once they understand that I'm going to let them make sure that they look good, they get to see the back of the camera, they really get more comfortable. And by the end, they're just like, they're just walking so much taller than when they came in. And I love that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I'm sure, we talked about dogs in the beginning. I'm sure there are family portraits where they have the family dog in there too, because
Absolutely.
It's part of the family,
Mm-hmm. I usually recommend someone that the dog knows come along for that so they can keep the dog's attention, and I work on all the family eyeballs.
That's great. That's great. Well, let's find out. First of all, where would you like our audience to get in touch with you? Where would they go to your website to find out more about you?
The easiest place would be to go to True Blue Portrait. There's no S on the end of that, .com.
trueblueportrait.com.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's my website. My work's there, and a contact form, and you can fill that out and get in touch with me. There's also links to all my social media on there as well.
And where does Stefanie want to be in another 3 to 4 years? What would you like to be doing that you're not doing?
That is a loaded question. Well, because of my work with social services, I absolutely would love to have a nonprofit that works with children in the foster care system, because part of my internship was in adoptions, and when these kids are going to these new families, they do not have photos with them. And one girl that I mentored in particular, I've known her since she was 10 and she's 25 now. She doesn't have pictures of her childhood. So I would love to have a nonprofit that is able to give these kids some memories of their childhood.
Oh, that is a really neat idea. I had never even entered my mind. That is such a nice thought. Yeah, to have a picture, because you're right. They would not be in a position to have a picture unless it was like a school picture or something like that,
Yeah, but with all the placements, a lot of times those don't follow them.
Really? Wow, that's great. Anything else on your agenda?
Well, the book should be out with the Inspirational Women. It should be out next year.
Okay.
And just kind of elevating the business and profile. Love to do additional editions of that, and maybe even a junior edition with some of the young up-and-coming teenagers that are giving back in their community and doing some great things.
That's an idea, right? Recognizing the teens. And then, of course, providing they stay in the area, that's kind of a customer for life, So right. That's wonderful. That's great. That's great. So again, people can find you at trueblueportrait.com. And I can attest to the fact that Stefanie is a wonderful photographer, that she has done marvelous work. I have seen her work. And it's really exceptional. So if any of you are in the Southern California area and you'd love to work with Stefanie, that's the gal you need to call, because she'll do a fabulous job for you. So I can't recommend her enough. So is there anything else that you'd like to leave our audience with before we say goodbye?
I don't think so. I had a lot of fun talking to you, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on the line with you.
Wonderful. Well, as I say, this is all about women in business. We like to interview people who have different professions, people who may not have thought about ever going into photography as a business or as a profession. And again, Stefanie's brought up some good points. Do you want a partner? Do you not want a partner? Do you want to be in business for yourself? Do you want to go about bartering in the beginning, or maybe doing some trade to get your name out there and your photos out there? And do you want to do joint ventures? That's all a part of it. So our guest has been Stefanie Blue from trueblueportrait.com. And thanks for being with us, Stefanie.